Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.
It's been quite a journey, an exciting journey for me to follow the change of baseball over really 40 years, you can say, but 30 since it's been, high-end baseball in college and pro. But yeah, strength up the middle. It's our goal. It's our goal every year with the Mavericks.
This episode of Bring Back the Porch brought to you by Bernie Leahy, River Street Realty. Let's get you home. Well, the sun came out, there's new grass on the field, and the world begins anew on opening day. Greg Morrison, the Medicine Hat Mavericks, welcome to the porch.
Thanks for the invitation.
Excited about the upcoming season?
Very much so. We've been releasing our WCBL team pitchers and position player releases every Monday here, so exciting times. Rosters are getting bigger every year, so I follow it along, and so does the community.
May 28th, I believe, is the home opener at Athletic Park. And I think you're on the road right after that for a couple of games. But
yeah, and the home opener's at 6:45 p.m. Can you imagine? We're bucking tradition a little bit from the old 7:05.
That's been forever.
It's been forever. People would always ask, why the 05? Well, traditionally, you have your anthem, you have your TV start time, right? So that 5 minutes, it was a tradition, even though we didn't have a lot of TV. 6:45. So nudging it a little sooner. Families, the games are getting a little longer. Trying to get the teams out of there. These are kids. These are college kids spending their summer. So trying to get them out of the ballpark a little sooner and get them off to a restaurant. And that 20 minutes will add up over a season.
I can remember when we used to start at 7:30. So there you go. You have 45 minutes. Yeah, you backed everything up. Yeah. Some games we'd be out there playing, all of a sudden the sprinklers would come on.
I wouldn't say that's never happened with us. But we know the timer. We start them. It's usually around 11 o'clock, that first zone. So there's 24 zones at Athletic Park. So, and that image too in baseball movies, right? There goes the sprinklers in the middle of the game, right? Yeah.
So is there a recipe for putting a ball team together?
Yeah, it's strength up the middle. I'm you can say older school with trying to keep up with newer methodologies, but I was so lucky to be a part of the Dodgers organization and the Jays. They were defensive oriented in the 90s. So strong catching defensively first. Although they did have a guy named Mike Piazza who would, he'd hit his 50 home runs, but he still took pride in his defense. One of the first guys I ever met was amazing. Meeting him and Vin Scully at Dodger Town was just, for us 18-year-old Canadian Medicine Hatter, you can imagine. But strength up the middle. Shortstops, you got to be able to move. You got to be able to roll a double play. Center field, and then pitching. Pitching's really evolved now. These terms of openers and guys who start and it's a 2-3 inninger. It's been quite a journey, an exciting journey for me to follow the change of baseball over really 40 years, you can say, but 30 since it's been, high-end baseball in college and pro. But strength up the middle. It's our goal. It's our goal every year with the Mavericks.
So how many players on your roster?
You're allowed 32.
32. And
an additional 8. Yeah, so the 8 can be high school affiliate kids. That 18 or 19-year-old who is not at college yet. But 32, we've never hit that mark. When I bought this team, there was 19 players on the roster. Several of them were two ways. They'd pitch and then they'd go play third base for us. So you can see how it's just really grown out. Now the schedule's gotten bigger. Back in those days, I think it was only 40 games, and now it's 56, so and you need more. But pitchers are very specialized now. They're on inning limits, so of 32, we probably have, at any given time, 28 to 30 in Medicine Hat. Of those, you're looking at 14 position players and usually 14 to 16 pitchers, and maybe a couple two-ways. So we do have a two-way Canadian guy.
So, do you just call Amazon and say, I need 9 pitchers and 3 relievers? And
No. Our players are the best marketers. And it's always been a passion of my wife and I. We got into this for the ball players, for the kids, because, I had that privilege of being a ball player and having host families, even as a minor leaguer. And it's quite an experience for kids. It can be a great experience if things are done well and things are done right. we treat them well, and they speak kindly of us. I have my contacts of coaches, of course. There's a spreadsheet. I wish I started it 10 years sooner, but I'm trying to, just continually build out the communications. So it's players, it's coaches, it's tech. They're sending their own stuff. We have a form on our website. It gets between 75 and 100 for position players, and usually about 30 to 40 pitchers. So there's hundreds of kids who want to play in this league. So but it's all those things together of trying to find the best 30 ball players you can for the summer.
Okay, now among the teams, you've all got the same list in the UK. Well, okay, this guy can't play here, but I know my friend over in, I wouldn't say Lethbridge, but maybe, Fort McMurray could use this kid. Do you call him up and say, hey, have you heard about this kid? Do you kind of work together to get these kids into the league?
Absolutely. And on the other end, if a player has not committed to any team in the league yet, it's easy enough for them to contact a handful of teams, and they do their research. I think our players and parents are smarter now than they've ever been in sport. So there's a little bit of that. It's like, I'm kind of chatting with this other team, Greg, and what are your opportunities here? And I'm like, our selling feature is small town community. Great host families. You're seeing Mama Dot at the ballpark there. She's literally repairing baseball uniforms and has a few players living with her. You got to get her on. It's just unbelievable. As we speak, I think she's probably delivering pocket schedules to 100 businesses in Medicine Hat, right? That's one of the great things about Medicine Hat. It's that small town, and you get to know them. You see my family out there helping out, and whether it's grounds crew or programs for the day. So that's our selling feature. Okotoks, they have big city lights. They got 5,000 fans, hard to compete with. Great people up there, great management. I wish we were still in their division. I used to love going out there and playing those guys 8 to 10 times a year. And then Sylvan Lake, they get to talk about the sand in your toes and the nice stadium. So, when I talk to a player, they get a great snapshot of this league. It's 12 communities, small towns, big cities. So we do fairly well. Kids, they like it here. In the end, it's about the experience with them. Every kid might be saying, I want to get to the big leagues in the back of their mind. Others know that, hey, you know what? It's 3 months of baseball. I want to go have some fun. That's what baseball has always been about since the age of 6 years old. And I think kids are figuring that out now, that these leagues aren't about, hey, where's this league? Where am I going to get? How many scouts are in the stands? Yeah, you get great exposure here. But it's just go and have a great 3 months of your life when you're 20 years old, because you and I are getting up there, I played as long as I could. I have no regrets. Sometimes I say I gave away 5-10 years of my prime earning years in my 20s while my friends were building their careers. But when I look back, it's, I got no regrets in regards to when I took that jersey off.
How many returning players are you allowed to have?
As many as you want. Wouldn't that be special?
Oh, yeah.
Because you think of a team culture at the professional level, like our Blue Jays you and I like to talk about so much, or the Dodgers. For a coaching staff, having your coaches return, having your players return, it's huge. Traditionally in leagues like this, of 30 players, if you're getting 20% back, that's good. We'll probably have around 10. So we've had some bright spots in the last week. Just a couple former players, whether it was last year or a couple years ago, saying, hey, how's it looking with you guys there? And Coach Ryan Reed, he's our head coach, as you know. He's so great at communication. He'll let me know that, almost that instant, hey, so-and-so is looking to get back. How's the roster looking? Because we kind of build it out together. It's an exciting part of the year.
You do have those players that are returning, and you want to bring that culture, because last year was a special team.
Yeah, and we have a secret sauce. I think a lot of people are figuring that out. We do try to get those guys together as soon as we can, because the thought of summer college ball is sometimes, you know what, I'll head out there after a couple weeks off at home, have some home cooking. Then maybe, I got to get to my apartment August 1st, get ready for school. So there's a lot of kind of in and outs in some of the leagues. And we really try to communicate to these players that, hey, you know what, we're all in here. Our family, our community is. We want to win. We want to have a great experience, but we want to win. Can you be all in with us? And that might mean you're coming straight from college if you have a playoff run. And I really respect these guys. You're 19 years old. Your JUCO made it. You're playing till June 5th. and you're literally getting in your car for 2 days and driving. You don't get a chance to see mom. So I've had conversations with moms and dads, right? And early on it was, come on, I'm not talking to parents about this. These are college guys, and I've realized, having kids and growing up, and it's okay to talk to mom and dad about that and reassure them and say, when are you coming up to Med Hat? Why don't you fly into Calgary, catch an Okotoks game, go to Banff, boot down to Med Hat, experience Western Canada, right? You're from Georgia. Come on up. Right?
Yeah. See what it's like here. There's no igloos and no Eskimos.
That's right. Right. So, and more, I'd say in the last couple of years, more and more parents are coming for a visit. They're very engaged, just like at the younger levels. Parents are very engaged. So it's a different thing. And that is part of our culture, is make the time for the player. I may have said this to you before, is, Pat Gillick was always about the player. Mm-hmm. And hearing those little one-offs, because there's so much to get distracted in being a GM or a coach, or in life, that it always has to go back to a certain thing. And for us, it's the player, and specifically the baseball development and that experience for them.
How many players from last year? You said about 10 coming back?
Yeah.
You got some names you can share?
Yeah. Evan Morrison, he's having a great year. There's definitely a last name connection there. He's my nephew. So he just actually, last week, he set the record at their college for home runs. It was 12 home runs, and was the conference player of the week. And I think we all saw it in him, just plus power. Just the guy can hit a ball anywhere out of the ballpark on any field. Big, strong guy, can run well. So having him back. Josh Stark, we're looking at bringing back. Okay. So he played for us a few years ago. He's had a college career, and he's been playing outfield this year. So he'll be coming back. We got one more of the Volcano. Two of the Volcano brothers are coming back. 2 out of 3. Yeah. Johnny and Adam. So Aaron he aged out. Okay. So Aaron actually was helping me coach this winter. So still helping out the Mavericks. We're hoping on Danny Retzlaff, was a real good lefty NCAA D2 pitcher. Who else we got? Yeah. Oh, both our catchers, defensively oriented catchers, are coming back. So it's looking good, because these are also leaders. And Johnny Volcano, this will be his 3rd year. These are guys that, they're coming back more than once, and that bodes well, because they easily could say, you know what, I've been there, done that. Because there still is a little bit of that. There's still a little bit, I got to go to a different league, or my coach wants me to go to a different league. These kids are having the courage to say, hey, you know what, coach, I want to go back there. That's what was right by me, doing early work, doing that early practice, that batting practice at 2 o'clock with Coach Mo in a 1-on-1 and 2-on-1 setting. Like, that's what I love about having this ball club, is be out there for early work.
Let's pause for a moment so we can share some exciting news. We're proud to announce that our work here at Bring Back the Porch is getting noticed. From October to the end of January, our videos and reels viewed more than 1 million times. Some of those viewers could be your customers, so sponsoring Bring Back the Porch is a great way to get your message in front of them too. If you'd like to support our work here at Bring Back the Porch, we ask you to go to our website at bringbacktheporch.com and follow the links. Thank you for your support. The players that come through the WCBL, some of them do go on to play in the major leagues, and there are some right now that are in the majors.
Yeah. Tugboat there made the World Baseball Classic from the Okotoks Dogs. I think he's in AA lefty. Okotoks has probably the most. They've had the biggest rosters since, they've probably had that size of roster for 6-7 years. They're definitely trendsetters. They're innovative in all things baseball. But yeah, Regina, I just saw they posted they had like 7 guys from their team last year that went on to sign professionally. So that could be any range from independent ball to affiliated ball. So these are stepping stones. Like, these leagues, they're there to develop. Baseball is very different than any other sport, like a hockey, where you kind of know at that 14 to 18 how things are going to play out. Baseball, it's late bloomers. It's guys that, they were playing men's league after their Division I career, so they were no slouch. They were throwing 88 at college. Now they're playing men's league, and all of a sudden they're 26 years old, they're 6'5", and they're throwing 95 miles an hour in men's league because the body just, you keep developing. And that's why I think we fall in love with baseball, right? We just don't know how it's going to go. We all love the underdog, whether it's the team or that player, that guy who played 12 years in the minors, like the Jays there, right? And here he is getting the big hit, right? So I think that's what draws us to baseball.
This is a wood bat league compared to some that are using aluminum bats. What's the difference? And why is this still a wood bat league?
Yeah. I don't know if we'd ever go to aluminum.
Doesn't sound right.
It doesn't sound right. So wood is a smaller sweet spot. It's a heavier bat, so the ratio of length to weight is closer. Aluminum, you can get these things, they're like a wand, right? You're just ping, pang. The irony is these kids they're using them at college. Then they come to us and they're using wood. So it knocks off, I generally, if a hitter's hitting 350 at college, I knock off 50 to 75 points just picking up a wood bat. You're looking at 75 points on your batting average. Your power's probably dropping at least 30-40%. And that just really goes to show you what a pro athlete can do. Guys like Vladdy that are hitting balls 450 feet with a wood bat. There are some college guys that can do that with aluminum. You put a wood bat in their hand and it's going from 400 to 380. Right. So I started using the wood bat. I was very lucky. I played 1 year college baseball, and then I had a wood bat in my hand from the age of 18 till 30. So 12 years of that's all I ever used. Aluminum, you may or may not remember when NBI played the Toronto Blue Jays. Who was the first baseman, the lefty there? He was hitting 40-some.
John Olerud?
Olerud was there. No. I just saw the other day, he's still the RBI leader for the Blue Jays. He's first. And then Vernon Wells is second.
Fred.
And then Vladdy.
Not Fred.
Not McGriff.
Not McGriff.
I should know this because he was in the big leagues when I was there. Yeah, it's from the Dominican Republic. Lefty. He had that nice sweet swing. So anyways, he picks up an aluminum bat here. They're messing around in batting practice. And he was hitting them over the trees opposite field. So these would be 490, 500-foot shots, right? Yeah. So that's the difference, right? So he could hit that ball 410 probably awful, but that's adding 100 feet just about. So, but wood is tradition. My brothers are old enough. They said, Greg, we were using wood bats when we were 10, 12 years old. There was no aluminum bats. Yeah. So those came about. I can remember, the black Easton, the black and yellow shiny Easton in high school, and some of those bats, they're still around. Those bats last. That's the interesting thing. These new bats, some of them are $600, and they're going under warranty sometimes. Technology has changed with the bat. I still my team, I say use the one piece. Use that old school bat. It's only $189. Use that thing for a few years, so no one doubts that it's not you.
Yeah, it's the power comes from you, not from the technology.
That's right. Yeah.
One of the things the Mavericks do is it's not just from opening day until the end of the season. You're a 12-month operation now, and part of that is attention and coaching for young people in Medicine Hat. Mm-hmm. You have clinics.
We have clinics. Yeah, we have youth teams. As you know, I was a kinesiologist, or still am, but not practicing, and had a clinic for 15 years. I said, you know what, a couple summers ago, if I'm going to not have a pension with either of these professions, let's go both feet in with baseball. And man, did it open up opportunities, those extra 30 hours a week of just planning and programming and be able to do, our passion is, 8 to 25-year-old baseball players. So it could be a once-a-week camp for an 8-year-old indoors, January to March. We're just wrapping up our 10 and 12U spring programs right now. So we were just in Lethbridge with our 10U team, and they got the Mavs on. And, I'm there, but I'm there for different reasons. I'm going to a baseball coaching convention. So we have our great parent group of coaches, and we have our supplemental Mavericks support coaches. It's really grown in the last couple years for us. My first camp I ever did here was at the Field House. It had to have been 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. I was living in Calgary, came back over reading week. I'm printing out a trifold thing. Here's Greg. And, so I've been doing it a long time, even when I was still early on in my career, because it was always a passion of mine. And in so fact, when I got released from the Jays, I remember standing up and shaking his hand, when they just told me I wasn't a major leaguer anymore. I said, I'm going to go get a kines degree and maybe I'll be back someday. They said, really? Okay, well, maybe so. And it didn't take me back to the Jays, but man, did it ever take me down a path that I must have already had there in the back of my head, right? I didn't even know what kinesiology meant back then, but I knew it was fitness and coaching and anatomy and how to move, and that's really what the study of human movement is. So, yeah, I probably should have said, keep me here, guys, instead of I'll see you in a few years. But yeah, I remember that conversation like anybody would, right? Those are the tough conversations that we have to have once in a while too. And that's baseball. You can't have all roses all the time.
No, it's a competitive game, and there's always somebody looking to take your spot.
That's right.
The ballpark itself, any changes, any modifications, improvements this year?
No, things that the fan may not see, the players would notice. We added another 6,000 pounds of clay to the infield. So as you can imagine, you have your grass edge, and then your clay begins. Just over winter, that clay gets depleted. And it's just an ongoing process of adding clay. So we've sourced some clay. They ship it in, and it's called Marco. And yeah, we add it. Comes in these super sacks, 3,000 pound sacks, and we add that in the fall. So aesthetically, there's really nothing that we've been able to add or structurally. There is one thing we're working on just to take a little bit of heat off the concession is we've purchased through donation a shipping container. So we're trying to turn it into a popcorn stand because everybody knows it just gets so congested over in that main concession. So we're going through the details of that. Just, we've got our development permits and such and trying to, no promises, but maybe on home opener it'll be ready. But that's the kind of growth that we're trying to prepare for or already in is, when there's 1,000 fans, there isn't a lot lineups. When you start getting to that 1,800 fans, which is when that ballpark thrives, as you know, right? When there's 1,500 fans in there, it's hopping in there. But it's a little tight in the back of that concession there, and we're still working on trying to get more food trucks. We love the food trucks because, we're kind of in the food and bar business, I guess, but really baseball's our specialty. And, if we could have one or two food trucks there every game to complement our dessert trucks, that would be great.
What about special events in terms of opportunities for people to come in and sponsor a night at the ballpark?
Yeah, so we have 28 home games. We generally have 24 or so that, the community steps up and they'll kind of sponsor it on behalf of an organization. So yeah, there's room. There's always room. It's something where you get to the ceremonial first pitch and you can get a few PA spots and bring out 40 of your staff or clients. So I've really felt a shift in the last 5 years. I mean, this is 20 years now I've been in sales and sponsorship marketing. So it's been interesting to see it. It's gone away from how big can my logo be at the ballpark to I want to show my fan or my clients, my staff, how much I appreciate them. So, you got your ground level boxes, you got your River Street patio, you got your Davis deck. And we're like, if we had another blank amount of money, could we build another deck on the other dugout? Because they're still their fans. They love their seats. They go up there and they're in their seat and it's got, their number. But a lot of folks want to mill around. They want to stand around. Hey, it's a meeting place, right? Yeah. Who cares who the Mavs are playing? I want to go see so-and-so. And I haven't seen him in 10 years, right? Yeah. And that's really what brings the smiles out down there is people are like, oh gosh, this is just somewhere to be, whether you're a baseball fan or not.
Yeah, it is a place to be on a nice summer evening. Tickets, how do we get them? Season tickets still available?
Yeah, we're getting fancy. You can do all that stuff online, but we still like folks to, if they want to come down and say hi, we have our souvenir shop and they can come down and take a look at the new gear we got. But so you can actually buy individual games online now. And I promise to anyone, if you can set up your email account, you can buy a ticket online, but come down and say hi to the staff. All
right. And how do we contact you?
Yeah.
Website?
Yeah. Google AI any way you need to. You can track us down and we have a fairly robust website, so you can check out all the pricing and you can see what games you can come and visit us.
Well, May the 28th, it all starts for the Medicine Hat Mavericks. Greg Morrison, I'm sure we'll be talking to you during the season as well. So thanks for the visit.
I always enjoy our visits. Thank you, Brian.
Hey, this is Brian again, and I'd like to ask you to do a favor. We can't do this work without people like you, so if you can, please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends about Bring Back the Porch.